Hey there guys, how are you today, and welcome to a brand new video on my channel. Today, discussing my F1 Fantasy League for the 2019 Singapore Grand Prix. Now, the race was a few days ago, so let's first of all take a look at the race results. And as I'm sure you may remember, the race was won by Sebastian Vettel. In a way, a shock victory considering his form of the season, but he's the king of Singapore, and not literally. Charles Leclerc second, Verstappen, so 1-2 for Ferrari, Verstappen third, Hamilton fourth with his teammate Bottas in fifth, so a poor day for Mercedes. Albon sixth, Norris an impressive seventh, Gasly eighth, Hülkenberg ninth, and Giovinazzi getting the final point in P10. We then had Grosjean, Sainz, Lance Stroll, Danny Ricciardo, Kvyat, Kubica, Magnussen, while Raikkonen, Perez, and George Russell all failed to finish the race. So now, let's start by looking at my team, since I'm still bottom of our leaderboard by a long way. And I got 108 points this week, which is not bad, I suppose. And I had Hamilton, Gasly, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, and Norris, so an unchanged team by me, I believe. And how Hamilton always scores highly for me. He never really let me down too much, although of course he could have scored higher if he wanted to this weekend. Gasly is a good choice for Turbo Driver, at least this weekend. Maybe I would have had a couple more points with Norris, but I think Gasly is a good choice. Still seems to do well in that Toro Rosso. And then we have Ricciardo scoring 11 points. He was up and down the grid all race, but just had bad luck in the end. Okay, Raikkonen again failed to finish. Alfa Romeo aren't doing so well these days. And Norris, 19 points, did well for me there, coming P7 in the race. And McLaren doing well for me overall. Moving on now to Robbie, who's on 1,863 points. He beat me this week, getting 120 points, which is pretty good actually. And he went for Leclerc, Verstappen, Raikkonen, Norris, and the torpedo himself, Danny Kvyat. So Leclerc obviously had a strong race, probably should have been able to win the race, but the safety car was bad timing for him. And then Verstappen did well, getting onto the podium. Well, we talked about Raikkonen and Norris already. Now, Kvyat's an interesting one, because he had the incident with Kimi Raikkonen during the race, which is why Raikkonen failed to finish. So maybe you had a bit of an issue there between two of your drivers, which just kind of let you down there. But what do you guys think of that incident? Was Kvyat being a torpedo, or should Raikkonen simply given more space? But Red Bull doing well there, 45 points. Then we have Thomas F1, who's on 1,959 points. And when it loads, we can tell you, got 133 points this weekend. We're going with Bottas, Verstappen, Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Lewis Hamilton. So Bottas didn't really have a great weekend, qualified only in P6. Okay, got up to P5 in the race, didn't really do too well. And Verstappen, we know, did have a good race. Obviously, he managed to get past Lewis Hamilton in the pit stops, and was maybe on another day could have challenged the Ferraris. Talks about Norris already, and Hamilton as well. And then Sainz didn't have a great race in comparison to his teammate, but at least he didn't get negative points. And Toro Rosso there, 15 points, with a decent day for them overall. Next up, we're going to Seb on 1,979 points. And he had 97 points this weekend, so that's the worst so far actually. And that's because, I can see why, because he had Raikkonen as a turbo driver. Which is a shame really, because you also had really good choices in Verstappen, Leclerc, Bottas, and Norris, who all finished in the top 7. But obviously having Raikkonen as a turbo driver has really let you down. And if you would have had Norris as your turbo driver, it would have been a completely different story. Next we're going to go to Kyle, who's on 1,986 points and got 146 this weekend, so that's pretty impressive. And he went for Sainz, Grosjean, Kvyat, Verstappen, and Bottas, with Ferrari as a team. So we know Grosjean was one of those drivers really going up and down the grid this weekend. Of course, it'd be interesting to know what you guys thought about the incident between Grosjean and George Russell. I mean, I've never liked Grosjean, so I'm inclined to blame him, but is that the case? I've seen a bit of both, around on social media and all that, so love to know what you guys think about that. And then we talked about the other drivers already, and I think the Mercedes really let everybody down. But obviously Ferrari is a great pick, 71 points, 1 and 2 in the race. Finally, we're going to go to Laurie, who's on 2,063 points. He got 130 this week, going for Albon as a turbo driver, which is obviously the good trick. Of course, having Albon as a turbo driver is the perfect driver to have it for. And you have Sainz, Kvyat, Raikkonen, and Lewis Hamilton. Mercedes as a team, so okay, we talked about most of these drivers already. Of course, Albon's doing decent with Red Bull, could do a bit better. Still needs to be really fighting with the top 6 more than he has been, but obviously as a turbo driver, he is perfect at the moment. And we talked about the other guys, and of course Mercedes already. So there you go, guys. That was my fantasy league for the Singapore Grand Prix. Tell me, are you going to make any changes for the Russian Grand Prix this coming weekend? And for now, I'll see you guys next time.